Yo, Artie Quitter podcast. Been a crazy week. Is this the second show we've done? It's only the second.
Third.
It's the third.
We've done three.
Oh, okay, we've done three. I'm fried.
This is number 3.
Okay, it's the third show this week. Trying to do as many as we can for you. Monday, my day was screwed up because of several issues. My mom, my mother went in for an operation, and this week, and she just got out yesterday, and she's doing fine, thank God. But it's something that could have been serious, but it's not, and that, of course, is a big stressful week for obvious reasons. My sister is just like such a strong person. She's at the hospital right now, sleeping there, my poor sister's gone through stuff. I mean, she's always there. She's the strength between the three of us to show up. I mean, my sister has now slept, in hospitals with my mother and me several different states. I had a seizure once on a plane because I took 14 Wellbutrin with a carafe of Jack Daniels thinking I would get high after rehab. And apparently somewhere over South Carolina or something, I had a seizure. They landed. I don't even remember. That's what happens when you have a seizure. I bit my tongue. Boy, this is a strong open to the show.
A regular jet or a private plane?
Not a private plane, a regular jet. I was sitting in first class. It was commercial. I forget what year would this have been. It was when the first rehab I tried after I crashed into the mountain at Stern. So I don't know, 2011ish, and I was I woke up I got on a plane in Florida, and I wasn't trying to hurt myself or anything, but they told me that the Wellbutrin had a speedy effect if you took a lot of it, and that was probably bullshit. And I had anxiety getting on the plane because it was the first time I had been out of rehab in a month. In other words, I was in civilization, and for some reason they didn't give me supervision. Like a lot of rehabs will have a guy walk you to the plane, so you don't do what I did. So I told the guy, I'm fine, it's been a month, I'm strong. And I said, you know what, I'm anxious, I can't get on this plane without a little buzz. And this is the point where, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but people call drug addiction a disease. I'm sure for some people it may be, but with some people that's a cop-out, a disease. Okay, right. How many times are you going to fall back on that? Mitch Hedberg had an amazing joke about that. He would say, they call alcoholism a disease, but it's the only disease you get yelled at for having. People don't hear, damn it, Jimmy, you have lupus. And it's true because, okay, the politically correct thing to say is it's a disease, but it's not a disease in people's heads. People just say that. I guess real left-wing, compassionate, liberal counselors may think that, but it's a weakness. It's a weakness. A stronger person would have got on the fucking plane. I like being high. I don't understand. In other words, when you're in rehab for drug addiction and say you're addicted to heroin, society considers you abnormal. I guess the way an addict's mind works is I think the person who doesn't want to be on heroin is abnormal. If you try heroin and you don't like it, there's something wrong. You're a weirdo. You're just weird. What, you don't want to feel like that every day? Were you kidding me? It feels so fucking great. And you forget everything. I mean, it just feels great. When you want to be normal is the guy who somehow has the strength to get through his shitty, boring commute to a marketing job in New York City at an insurance company or something, and he gets through that day. Getting his suit to the dry cleaners on time to do the same thing the next day. Gets home and hopes his wife doesn't have a fucking shitty look on her face about something because the light by the CVS is broken still and she was in traffic. and one of the kids shit his pants in social studies and might, have ADD. So their big question is, do we put our 7th grade kid on methamphetamine and Xanax, which is what Adderall is? Okay, you get through that day without heroin. That's normal. The abnormal guy is the guy who, instead of going through that bullshit, takes heroin and feels fantastic. Of course, you become a shitty dad. You do become absent. To me, it's normal to want to escape from that. I'm not strong. The regular life is a prison sentence. I tried to escape regular life. That's why I went into comedy. I would see, people related to me, cousins, friends, and they wouldn't leave my hometown or their hometown, or they'd move 2 towns over, and they'd start essentially the same life their parents had, a version of it. And to me, they're the strong people in life because they can deal with that. They can deal with that monotony of getting up every day and doing the same fucking thing, same job. And a lot of people look at me and go, "Oh, well, you took a risk in life. You're brave. You went and became a comedian." No, the direct opposite is true. I took a risk in life because I'm a pussy. I didn't want to do that. I was scared to death of being strong and having a family and being normal. I was scared. My weakness led me to live a different life. I said I have to escape that, because if I don't escape it and I live that regular life, I'm gonna something bad's gonna happen. Even worse than what did happen, which wasn't a pretty picture. So heroin's an escape from all that. So you get weak and you take drugs. That's what I think I am. I think I'm weaker than the average person. That's why I got out of living a regular life and tried to be a comedian, to live in chaos and make a living out of it. My life is complete chaos. It still is. And I fucking love it. It's I don't consider myself a disease-ridden person. You see somebody with a disease, you go to the cancer ward. You go to the cancer ward and you look at some of those people, and then you look at your buddy Eddie, who's an alcoholic, sitting at the bar with a bet on the fucking Knick game. Who has a disease? It just is a cop out. So I had a seizure because I tried to get high with Wellbutrin, which, if you know what Wellbutrin is, the funniest thing ever. I think it makes your hormones go. I think I grew tits.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. So I fucking had a seizure somewhere over South Carolina. And I bit my tongue. My tongue was almost bitten in half. And I didn't realize it. So I got on a plane in Florida, and I woke up in a hospital in South Carolina, and my sister was at the foot of the bed. My sister found out about it and flew to South Carolina to make sure I was all right.
And they stopped the plane. You were a passenger.
Don't talk. I'm kidding.
They stopped the plane?
Are you crowbarring questions because you feel because
No.
you have to justify them? No, Dan. They just put a parachute on me and threw me out the fucking window. What do you mean they stopped the plane? Of course they stopped the plane.
Well, South Carolina might be a hub for an airline. I didn't know if
What are you talking about?
Maybe you didn't fly nonstop.
I got up and Dan. When have I ever flown not nonstop?
New Orleans.
You're the one. New Orleans? No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I was with you.
When?
We had to fly. Where do we have to fly first? We had to go.
Oh, right. Don't even bring it up. Oh, don't even bring it the fuck up. Those dickwads at DirecTV. Chris fucking Long was the big shot. You're not flying fucking nonstop. I should have quit right there. They don't even understand the show I'm doing.
And we were in coach. In the last row.
Yeah, we're gonna take this insanely unique show you put on our network, and we're gonna put the Rich Eisen show about what does he do about the fantasy football? We're gonna put a cookie cutter show about sports on. Rich Eisen, the Henny Youngman of the sports.
He looks older than Henny Youngman now.
Henny Youngman's dead.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. I saw Henny Youngman at Carnegie Deli once. He was sitting in the back, leaning to the side, miserable, near death, and a parade of people that walked by him. About 100 people all said the same thing. Henny, how you doing? He said the same thing to every one of them. Pretty bad. Henny, how you doing? Pretty bad. Henny, pretty bad. That was his joke. And he stuck with it, and it was hilarious. So no, Dan, no. Chris Long did not book the flight. Yeah, the Danettes took all the nonstop. Yeah. What happened was the Hoosiers parody shoot went late. We got we got some extra money. You've got to see it. Chris Long's having a private screening of it in his room. Ken Cole is arranging. Ken's very anxious about it. Yeah. Ken,
You have to RSVP.
Ken needs this screening to go well to keep his job. So he's in charge of it, and yeah, well, Ken just rented his house to a basketball player. I gotta tell you, I saw the movie Hoosiers by myself. That's right. I was setting up a brand new morning show in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And it was they went a little road. They had 2 black people in the morning. It was black people in the morning in Cheyenne, and that is not an easy sell. And the Native American show had been pushed to noon. And the Native Americans rule. And, of course, back then we called them Indians. And you could do whatever you want. And as far as Indian jokes, it was just a different time. And I'm telling you right now, I don't do it. I don't condone it. I don't condone some of the Halloween costumes. Like me and the missus would come in as Little Horn and Big Shot. And we had our Indian names were Programs Good Radio. That was my name, like Dances with Wolves. Programs Good Radio. Invents Good Radio. Comes up with good jokes. And my wife was Wampum Givehead.
Oh, God.
Wampum Miss Cole. And the basketball player will not leave my house that I sold. I sold my house to a really tall Seattle supersonic colored fella. And I took every stitch. So I moved down to L.A. That poor guy, Ken was a classic middle management radio guy. And, I guess those guys make money, Dan? Like a lot. I mean, are they at least paid well? It seemed, because I got the feeling Ken had money.
Ken was in the about 150 to 200,000 year
So
range.
he doesn't make any money. How do you live on that? L.A. And in other words, but what they would do to him is nightmarish. Moving is so stressful. I mean, thank God I throw money at the situation. But I moved quite a bit the first couple of years I lived in L.A. I moved from place to place. But that's when, I would buy rent furnished apartments. Moving meant just throwing shit in a duffel bag and leaving. Well, the underwear I left all wet in the side of like a bunch of showers.
Oh, God.
All over studio apartments in Los Angeles. But a real move with furniture, forget it. It's the most stressful thing. And that company, Ken would go to L.A. and then 2 weeks later, listen, you're moving to Milwaukee. Okay. Is that a definite? Yeah. All right. Let's get the kids in school in Milwaukee.
They wanted him to quit. He didn't.
We got good news. We got Junior into the Milwaukee school. He's having some trouble in the 8th grade. And we're all set. And good news. He's liking the Milwaukee schools. He's getting along with some of the kids. Yeah, that's great. You think he'll like Cincinnati? Why do you ask that question, Chris? Are you sitting down, Ken? Yeah, you're moving to Cincinnati. We need you to set up the morning show there. Yeah, it's you know the 2 guys in the morning? Yeah. Paz in Peru. Paz apparently hit Peru in the face. They were doing a bit about how they don't like television. Okay, I'll get our kid right out of that. The missus is crying right now. Well, yeah, she didn't get the silverware of the drawers yet. That's what's tough about being being a yes guy. You know, guys like that. They're such nice people, but and I don't know if Ken is definitely in this category, but I've met them in TV. The executives, they do it to themselves. If you want to live life like that, where you're a kiss ass, and a yes person. The type of guy where if you're above them in the company, you can change. They will change their opinion based on what you say in a millisecond. Like, I mean, about anything. Like they'll come in it'll be 2 degrees in Green Bay, and they'll come into a room and go, God, it's cold out there. It's kind of warm. It's very warm. Very warm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The warmest day I've ever... I mean, black is white until white is black, because you say it. So, and if you live like that, that's how they treat you. It's a nightmare. That's why a lot of these guys just leap off a bridge. I couldn't do that. So in other words, yeah, life like that, to me, to me, those people are tough. They're tough. They can live life and get pleasure out of small things. People think they're boring. No, they're interesting. I'm the boring one because I can't make, living a provincial sort of local life interesting. I can't do that. I need excitement to make me exciting. I really think I figured out a new.
Now I know why I'm here.
Well, what I mean, no, you. Well, whatever. I mean,
I'm Mr. Excitement.
You have a sense of adventure. Well, you're sort of the same way. You got all these people in your family who never left the house.
Yes.
that Italian thing. They never left home. Like the Boschettis. Like people think the Boschettis are dull. No, they're fascinating people. They all live in the same house in Staten Island. They grew up and they're all 53 years old. They can somehow make that exciting. I'd be sitting in the corner. Why is Artie sitting in the corner? Because he can't make this exciting. Artie's boring. Artie needs a life where he's a C-list comic, traveling from town to town, doing jokes with a massive drug problem, and the edge always right there, and he might fall off it. He needs to have a seizure over South Carolina. He needs women coming in and out of his life. Yeah. He needs to be living in a hurricane. My friend Colin Quinn had a very, very sort of poetic, I would call it, and insightful opinion about drug use and my drug use. And he said, don't think that, don't fool yourself into thinking that drugs save you from the banality of life. And that's true. I think sometimes after, like in a 72-hour period, I had a situation where I did the Howard Stern show as a co-host. I did Letterman, and I played Carnegie Hall with my mother there, sold out, standing ovation, blah blah blah. Best 72 hours of my life in my career. Like that's why I got into this business, to have a 3-day period like that. And what happens is, of course, that's exciting during the 72 hours. But what Colin's point is I'm someone who I'm scared to death of the boredom that's coming after that. Like when that's over, what happens? And that's when I do drugs. That saves you from the banality, the boredom. It saves you from not having that excitement anymore. And that's not a disease. Counselors will tell you in rehab that's a disease. And these idiots who buy into that go out, and when someone gets mad at them for not getting a job because they'd rather do fucking coke, they have the balls to go, oh, fuck you, I have a disease, you insensitive clod. And now that's become a legal thing. The country brought into, they call it the nanny state that we live in, people getting coddled. They buy into it, and now there's almost laws. And there's laws within companies now. Corporations they have to treat you as if you have a disease, if you're an addict. It's so retarded. They can't fire the asswipe at the Christmas party who's in a stall with one of the secretaries, and because he gets coke that's a little too good, and when he does it, his elbow from some sort of reaction in his brain snaps, and he gives a black eye to the secretary who's in the stall with him doing the coke. His elbow goes from good coke, gives a black eye to a woman, knocks her out, who's married. That guy's not an asshole who needs to be fired. That guy has a disease. Unbelievable. So that's my backwards theory about drug addiction, and the fact that people think that the people that leave their hometown to get something better. Like the end of Thunder Road. It's a town full of losers. I'm pulling out of here to win. No, we're the losers. The winners are the people who can stay in town and deal with it. They're the strong people. We're going to stay here amongst our families and get a regular job and live life. Because we can do it. We have the strength to do it. And we're not going to make our parents worry. Because we might be in a hotel room, we might be ODing in a Marriott in St. Louis, or having a seizure in a plane over South Carolina, falling off a stage in Vegas while a retarded black midget named Beetlejuice shits on you.
Oh, God.
I fell off a stage, and I realized this later in Vegas when I was drunk. A lot of people know it. 2 feet from where Beetlejuice took a shit on stage.
Oh.
That guy has a disease. That guy's not a drunk asshole. He's got a disease. Wah. Wah, wah, wah. No, I'm a drunk prick. So I got weak, and I left. My sister's an interesting person because she's a combination of someone who went out and got the excitement. You can do that if you live not that far from a great city like New York. In other words, we're not in Nebraska. Stacy didn't have to move far from home to get the excitement of life, where you feel like you left the small town, and but you didn't. New York City is just 12 miles. I think the Holland Tunnel is exactly 14 miles from where I grew up. You can see the skyline from the roof of where the house I grew up in. And but when you're there, it feels so far away from Union, New Jersey. But you get the best of both worlds. So my sister, took a risk in life and went and got put herself through FIT bartending, and impressive person. And, has always worked for Ralph Lauren, traveling the world, going to Paris and London to get designs for clothes, and Spain. Setting up, helping factories get set up in different cities with a design team, and showing them how to actually manufacture the clothes and fold the clothes and get them out. Very impressive person. But she's also there for the family. And, thank God I kept the promise to my dad of making money. I thank God I finally started putting money into the equation, but that's all I did. Everything else was my mother and sister and their strength. I mean, could you imagine? I woke up in South Carolina and with half a tongue, and my sister is at the foot of my bed, and because she knew, obviously, how better do you feel if a family member's there? If someone told me you're in South Carolina and you just had a seizure and you can barely that insane pain, and the reason you can't talk is because you bit your tongue. I had to find I found a really good oral surgeon on a recommendation. The guy sewed my tongue together. I mean, this is right before I met you. This is like 2 months before the thing.
You've never talked about it.
Yeah. 2 months before, well, I was afraid it would cost me work for a while, but I guess 5 years have passed. The loser statute of limits have gone by. Yeah, no, that's what it was. It was right after I got out of that rehab, and then I got clean. Then that day at the airport was the last time I drank or did drugs for a few years. That got me clean. And, they tell you that, and you feel, okay, now what? And also, I want to get myself out of that hospital maybe and get in a cab and say to the person in South Carolina, where's the heroin store? Can you take me there? So my sister flew down. So hospitals in different states. My sister was in L.A. When I got out of L.A. County Jail after my stretch there, who's waiting in L.A., flew across the country, waiting for me to get out, sleeping in the fucking lobby of L.A. County is my sister with my great ex-manager, Peter Principato, who I bust balls on this show because he went ahead and did it. He got the pancakes. But believe me, it's done with affection. But, Peter left he was working in New York at William Morris. He was my agent, and he left the New York office, just took his headset off, and he risked getting fired. So him and my sister waited for me. And of course, Peter ate the meatball sandwich my mother said. Yeah, so my sister's at the hospital right now with my mom. And she's doing good, but, she's got to recover from being invasive surgery. So it's been a weird week is my point. That 30-minute lecture was my point of saying why we didn't do a full week here. But I couldn't go today to the hospital either because I agreed to shoot a movie. Every once in a while, an independent filmmaker will send me a letter, and a lot of times they're very flattering. Big fan of your work from Mad TV, blah blah blah. And they list the whole thing, and you can tell they're sincere. And they a lot of times they think I could do something dramatic in a movie based on sketches I've done or whatever. And the first time it ever happened was a movie called Fourth Floor. Some of you guys know this. It's an HBO film I did in 1998. Right around the time I did Mystery Men and The Bachelor and all that shit. Director liked me on Mad TV and thought I could do a dramatic part. And I play the murderer in this murder mystery with Juliette Lewis and William Hurt. And all my scenes were with Juliette Lewis. I play the super in her building, who's kind of like a mentally slow idiot who has an obsession with keys. Really a fantastic performance. And I mean, the guy said I did what he wanted me to do. I gave it a shot. I said, "Are you liking this?" Because it was interesting, and I took the part. I mean, Juliette Lewis. We shot it up in St. John, New Brunswick, which is next to Nova Scotia, in Canada. Holy living Christ! Oh my God! But again, I one of the hottest chicks I ever fucked was on the set of that movie. For a little while, I was on a run. Like if you just well, not a run, but if I was on a movie set for a little while, I could somehow talk a chick into my trailer and have sex at least once during the shoot. I mean, that's me. So you imagine what happens when, Scott Baio does a movie. Kurt Russell made a joke. Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone were doing a film together, Tango and Cash, I believe. Was that it? Were they Tango and Cash?
They were.
Who was Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man? That was Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson.
And that was one of Roger Ebert's favorite movies of all time.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
Thank God he lost his throat.
Oh,
I guess he didn't see Beer League. But, supposedly, Kurt Russell said that Sylvester Stallone's trailer needed shock absorbers. Well, the chicks he was fucking. Yeah, it was, she was from, that area, Nova Scotia. She seemed slow.
Oh.
But no, she wasn't slow. I don't think she was slow. Would that be against the law if I fucked a retarded chick? No, right?
No.
You've done it? You sounded like you checked on ordinance. Now, listen, I did something last night, officer. This isn't, well, actually, it's not me. It's a friend of mine. Say I have a friend who starts talking to a mongoloid. And the mongoloid says, I have a nice hat. Yeah, that's a little blonde who, she was actually my driver. She was I think she was a Teamster. She drove me back to the hotel every night. And I had been on Howard with Norm a couple of times, and she loved the Howard Stern show. And she kept telling me she wanted to go on Howard Stern and show her tits. Now, this is before I was a full-time there. I was just a guest a couple of times. I was doing the sitcom Norm, and this was on the break, and I got offered this movie. I gave up tickets to Game 1, Yankees-Padres, when Tino hit that grand slam. Fuck. We were 11 miles from the border of Canada and the United States of America, and they didn't know the World Series was going on. We were listening on set, in between shots. The crew was listening. The World Series is going on. The Yankees are playing the fucking World Series. 11 miles from the goddamn border. They were listening to a minor league hockey game. I'm not even kidding. Well, no, we're listening to the Wolverines. The who? Oh, the Wolverines are playing. What do you want to hear? The fucking World Series. Oh, no. Fuck you and your Yankees.
They still had the Expos then, right? Expos were still there, right?
In 98? Yeah, they were just on their way out, but apparently they weren't lighting the world on fire. There's a reason they left. Remember those boring Expo games?
Yeah.
Oh, every once in a while they get remember the NBC game of the week? They get the Expos?
Yeah.
I guess they had to sometimes. Oh, imagine like a 1978-ish Expo red game. The big red machine against those Expos in the Olympic Stadium. 14 people in the Olympic Stadium. Cavernous. The big red machine. The Reds will be up 15-0 by the second inning. Pete Rose had already broken the ribs of 3 Expos while he was diving into bases. Probably had a huge bet on the Expos. Yeah. So she was cute, this chick. I mean, she was top heavy. She had big tits and kind of a, definitely sexy, but in a weird way. She had a kind of a flat ass, but nice thighs. Nice thighs and really beautiful feet. It's funny, I saw her completely naked. She never saw me without my socks or shirt on. I never took my shirt or socks off. Anybody from New York could have fucked her. It was almost like that, the Southern redneck thing. Hey, you take me to New York with you? Sure, sweetie. I told her I could get her on the Howard Stern show. At the time, completely false. I was lucky if they invited me back. She said, her question was, tell Howard I'd be willing to show my tits. I'm like, well, maybe I can get you on there. And oh God, there's no way she could be listening to this, but she had nice tits, but when I got her, her tits were disappointing because she had, her nipples faced different directions. One of those things, you think they're going to be perfect because in a shirt they look perfect, and they were big. They were big fucking tits. But they look like Bill Cosby's eye.
No.
But if Bill Cosby had that eye for both eyes, And again, this is a controversial stance. I've said this before. Bill Cosby has that eye because when you're raping a chick, you keep an eye on the door. You keep one eye on the door and one eye on the chick you're raping. If you feed a chick 14 Benadryl and coffee, you don't want her to die while you're fucking her while you're coming on her back. So you're making it with one eye. You have to make sure she's breathing. With the other eye, of course, you have to watch the door in case Tempest Bledsoe comes in for a script meeting. Mr. Cosby? Yes, we want to. What's going on, Tempest? You said we could talk to you anytime about life. Yeah, what the thing with the Jenna with the pudding and the are you still in there? Are you still giving that Asian girl comedy lessons? Yeah, she's getting funnier by the second. That's my Bill Cosby. Yes, because when you're a filthy rapist like he is, a lot of times you don't remember. Did I bolt the door? Did I not bolt the door? So he's like, oh, I'm afraid this fucking little cunt Tempest Bledsoe. I opened up that Pandora's box. I told this little bitch I would talk to her about the script and life. I need advice about a boy I'm dating. Mr. Cosby. You said you'd be 1 hour with the Asian girl.
What was the thing called? The class that he had? With Gilbert?
Well, it wasn't called anything. Gilbert, Gilbert's on the highest rated Cosby show ever. He sells, he's a used car salesman. Bill Cosby was like, get the Jew. You're going to do the thing with the car, the thing, and you're a Jew when you tell me I'm a car. So Gilbert goes to rehearsal, and Cosby's not there. He's late, and an assistant director or somebody said, on Thursdays, Mr. Cosby teaches comedy to Asian models. Unbelievable. I mean, people knew what was going on back then, I guess. I started talking. Listen, this is what this podcast. There's no way to describe my podcast because I started talking about the Bill Cosby show because that chick had tits that went different ways, and it reminded me of his eye. I really, there is no way you can't. If people are upset that I don't complete a thought, you're right. Unfortunately, that is the show. This chick's big fucking Nova Scotia tits with nipples that went the opposite way reminded me of Bill Cosby's lazy eye. That turned into us talking about Gilbert. No, you know the deal where like you get a chick's shirt off. Well, Dan, did you ever date a guy with tits, like a man tits? That goes different ways. Nope.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, did you ever have this problem where you're disappointed with the tits when you get?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, you were talking like they're so thrilled when our shirt comes off. Well, with me, see, it's not false advertising. The chick probably knows it's going to be bad.
Right.
Like, whoa, and that's everything I expected. that line in American Splendor. Paul Giamatti plays Harvey P. Carr. People don't know what I'm talking about, maybe. It's a great movie about a cartoonist in Cleveland. They did a movie about him. I was a fan of his because he was always on Letterman. But a great line is Giamatti sees his reflection in the mirror. Yeah.
Yes.
And it says in a thought bubble, like a cartoon, there's a reliable disappointment. So, I'm looking at the tits going, all right. And what I did was like she was on top of me and she would put her tits in my face. And, when you're, buried in the big Nova Scotia tits like that, you don't notice it. But I was able to grab each nipple on each side. And, again, she was about 23, though. It doesn't even matter. Well, I was only, what was I? I was 30. No, I was 29 years old. So we were both kids. We were both young and having fun. There's a rumor, I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say it. It's such a great rumor, though. Ah, fuck. It's about Juliette Lewis.
Oh, I know this rumor.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Well, I'll give it to you this way. I'll put it this way. There's a rumor. I won't even say what it's about. There's a rumor about Juliette Lewis that I heard through someone who would probably know, and Adam Sandler, when both were single. Okay, that's all I'll say. And it's a crazy sort of story. That's all I'll say. And I was told this story before I started shooting the movie with her, and she couldn't have been nicer, Juliette. Could not have been nicer. I realized that I'd done Mad TV, and I worked with a lot of great actors there, but I've been acting with Norm, who's a comic, and, we're not exactly young Bobby Duvall's there. And the first scene in this movie with Juliette Lewis, I groan at her and yell at her, and she has to be startled in the scene. The guy yells action, I yell at her, and she goes, cowers, and I thought I really scared Juliette Lewis. I thought she was scared of me. And I went, I broke the script, and I said, I'm sorry, are you okay? And she goes, I'm acting. The guy yells, cut, Artie, what are you doing? I go, honestly, I thought I scared you. She goes, well, no, I'm acting in the scene, scared. Like, all right, well, there was a nicer way to say that. No, we actually got along really well. She was so fucking cool. Listen, you're going to laugh? I thought I could have fucked her, too. I don't think.
No.
Anyway, no, I don't think.
I bet you her tits were perfect.
Yeah, right. I bet you're right. I kept thinking of that fucking scene in Cape Fear. One of the, when I was addicted to heroin, and one of the days I couldn't get into the Stern show because I was in full-blown opiate withdrawal and having opiate-induced constipation. I would put the Stern show on sometimes, and in withdrawals, shivering, I would listen to the show to see what they're talking about. And you want to talk about a surreal situation. I'm in full-blown opiate withdrawal with opiate-induced constipation.
If only there were a pill for that back then.
I see. I see, I call it. And you're hearing you're hearing people make fun of the fact that you're in this hell to 20 million people. Man, disconcerting. But Juliette came in, and this is like about 7 years after we made the film. Almost exactly 7 years, and I don't know if she'd remember me. And I guess she knew I was on the show. She sits down, and it was so sweet. She said something so sweet, and then Howard cut into it and ruined it. She goes, where's my co-star, Artie? I loved Artie. We did a movie together. Where is he? I was hoping to see him. And Howard goes, Artie died.
Oh, God.
He's dead.
Oh, God.
And she went, no, get it. She goes, no, he's dealing with something. Let's not talk about him. And then she forgot about me. No, it was nice of her to ask you. You could tell that we would have reminisced a bit. But anyway, in between takes, after the first scene, it was a low-budget movie, and we shot in this old... 2 times this happened. I guess people make mental institutions in the comedy. When we shot the scene in Elf, that was in Vancouver, Canada. Much hipper. We shot that on a soundstage that was an old mental institution. And the same thing in Nova Scotia. And it was a very creepy building. So in between shots, while they're lighting the next shot, Juliette and I are sitting there having a cup of coffee. And she said, you're a stand-up comedian, they told me. I go, yeah. She goes, do you know Adam Sandler?
No.
And if I could tell you what the story was, you would know why I giggled to myself. She was very sweet. And believe me, the Adam Sandler story, to me, it makes them both seem cool as hell. Unbelievably cool as hell. I'll put it to you this way. Here's a hint. If you're in New York City and you're close to the Upper East Side, go to the comic strip and see a show. And if you're a man, go in the men's room. And I want you to note how small it is. Okay? Note how small the men's room at the comic strip is. And you'll know why I'm impressed by that story with Juliette Lewis and Adam Sandler. That's all I'll say. I can barely take a leak by myself in there. It's so small. So, What was the point? I was trying. The point is, my sister is, thank God, with my mom, and this whole thing was to explain why we couldn't. This is our third. We usually try to do 4. Maybe we'll do a bonus for you tomorrow. We got nothing going on. I actually have the day off tomorrow. I had a lot of shit going on Monday, and then Tuesday, what happened? We did a show, right? We did a regular show Tuesday. Wednesday, I had the gig. My mother had the operation Wednesday, which was stressful. I had to do something in the morning that I can't talk about. And then Wednesday night, I had a rare gig in Ridgefield, Connecticut. What an amazing fucking crowd, the Ridgefield Playhouse. Pretty much sold out on a Wednesday. Really supportive, and a lot of new material. I'm getting another special ready with the 2 million other things I'm doing. Right now, I have to take a diabetic piss.
You baby gorilla.
Don't make me break my foot off in your ass!
You baby gorilla.
That's my white mama.
Hey. Are we on?
Yes, we are.
We're back. I'm sitting here watching TV. It's 3:15 in the morning. We got nothing to do tomorrow. So anyway, so I did this movie today. This independent movie. I play a father, so I'm starting to get dad roles. But again, it was an interesting part, and it was fun to do. Director is a good guy, this guy Jeremy, and he got money to make this independent movie. I mean, I guess that's a unique thing in itself. But I play the father of this 23-year-old girl named Patty Cakes. That's her rapper name. She's a rapper. 23-year-old female rapper. Like hardcore. Like a white Queen Latifah type thing. And she, lives with her mom, and I'm estranged. We're estranged. She hasn't seen me in years, and I come back into her life, wanting her to move in with me in my apartment in New York City. I won't give too much away. And that's it. I was kind of flattering that he thought I could pull off something like this, because you got to be funny, yet touching, it's dramatic, whatever. And I did what I could. I gave him what I could. I tried to go there trying to give him what he wanted, and he said he liked it. I don't know. I mean, he said it went great, but I've been involved with a lot of projects, especially movies, where we leave going, that was great, and then critics, let's say, disagree, as does the general public.
I'm thinking best supporting actor.
Well,
I saw some of your work.
Yeah, if those are the jokes you're going to add, forget it. Just don't even. Terrible. It was like a couple of guys, like accountants at the water cooler after the company play or something. I feel insecure doing stuff that's not comedy. I guess there's people say, there's no pressure to get laughs, but that's just the thing. When I try to be sincere, I don't feel I'm sincere. And the girl is very, I guess she got a lot going on. This actress, something might happen, big time when you get a part with a lead in an independent film like this. Sometimes you get something else going on soon after that. She lives in L.A. Australian girl doing a Jersey accent. She's, pulling it off, doing very well. But, we had to have this emotional thing where I'm her dad and getting her back into my life. And she had to show a lot of emotions. And she was doing very well. And again, it's like the same Juliette Lewis thing. I felt like going, are you okay? I mean, because, when I do a character like that, I try to draw from my own life. Because the character is a loser. Which I think is why that was the gist of the letter as I look back on it. I look back reading in between the lines going, I just thought of you for this. I thought of you for this. It's just, it's just the character is, I just think you could pull this off. The character is, I'm a big fan of your acting. The character is, I've seen a lot of your work. The character is just a really, a huge loser. And I think I did emote that. Because I wore the clothes. She let me wear the clothes I wore to the set. Which is my loser uniform, much like Batman. So we got that out of the way. But I'm noticing as I watch TV, there's too much television. There's too many options to get on TV. There's 4,000 channels. In 1992, Springsteen wrote a song called 57 Channels and Nothing On. And the point of the song was, like, could you imagine 57 channels? Like, in 1992, that was a lot. And it was a lot because, that was just as we were coming out of, a couple local stations, 3 networks, and PBS. 57 channels. Whoa, in the 70s growing up, you never would imagine that. 57 channels is, a distant memory. There's 5,000 channels. It's crazy. And then you throw in YouTube options, whatever the fuck. There was a stat that young people under 25, their top 10 celebrities, their top 10 favorite celebrities are all what they call YouTubers. Think about it. It doesn't have to be sickening. There could be very funny people on YouTube. It's just YouTube. It's different. It's how people are getting noticed nowadays. And it's the technology is making it so. You know what? A lot of people can say, fuck you to Hollywood. We don't need you. Look what Anthony Cumia's doing. Anthony in that Twitter rant said a lot of crazy shit that, you can't defend, really. But again, people get angry and say stupid shit sometimes. I don't think you should vilify a guy like that for just that. You should look at it. If he really, in a long-term situation believes what he said, yeah, that's trouble. But you got to take a lot of factors into account. And, Anthony's become a friend of mine, so I'm defending him a bit here. But, out of context, what he said is insane. But do you ruin a guy's life based on just hearing that without doing some investigating? I don't know. But here's the thing. Anthony is a very talented guy. So whether you hate what he did or not, the fact of the matter is, Sirius lets him go, and he starts a podcast. And the fact, because he has a huge following, he's doing very well. And he's got the best of both worlds. He's making very good money, very, very good money. And he can say whatever the fuck he wants because it's a podcast. And there's no executive at a studio to tell him what to do. There's no standards and practices. So, in other words, that's the perfect example of what technology is letting happen. Now YouTube, these people that are popular on YouTube, again, I try watching some. It's very geared towards teenage girls, I think. But that's what teenage boys are now, teenage girls. They have that sensibility. Very feminine. Very feminine, this culture. I guess YouTube started out with the same freedom I have here, but now what's happening? They're becoming like networks. It's all advertising. And you can't be completely uncensored like I am here. I mean, is this our 250th episode? What are we doing that?
We're 240 something, 241, 242.
I thought we were 249, somebody said.
Are we? Hold on, let me go look.
I thought you were on top of that. Weren't we supposed to make a kind of a big deal? He doesn't even know the amount. Well, go look. We're going to go look. Oh, you mean on the computer?
Yeah.
Oh. That's the other part about technology. I was telling Dan this. People, I can't stand when you're having a conversation with somebody and a question comes up, and then you're not really. A question comes up that you don't know the answer to, and you're not really that concerned with the answer, but the other person says, "Oh, I'll look it up on my phone." So now there's no closure to that conversation. In other words, you want closure to that part of the conversation, and I might be being OCD. I want closure to that talk. We were talking about who played left field for the 1966 Indians? I really don't care I want to move on, though. But I can't move on because you're on the phone looking up who played left field for the 1966 Indians. I want to move on to what are we doing this afternoon? But I can't fully do it. So I start saying, well, we could eat before we go to the game. But I'm not getting any answers from this person because they're looking up who played left field for the 1960s. You know, and as I'm saying, well, there's a restaurant over here. I'm interrupted by Siri going, what was that question? Who played the field? Who played the field in the movie about Indians? No. So now I'm in a three-way conversation with me, the person I'm talking to, and Siri. And you know, the GPS broad who interrupts you in the car, telling you how to go. I can't stand when I tell people, Timmy, my road manager, I want to fucking strangle him. We played the Ridgefield Playhouse the other night, and I've been there 50,000 times. He's been there 50,000 times. I know how to get there. You know why? Because I don't know. I was born in an era where we learned how to get there. After you went somewhere 50 times, I remember how to go. I'm an adult male. I remember how to fucking go. I don't need the phone. You know, I'm going to say something kind of controversial. Every once in a while, guys don't want women around. We just want to talk. We just want to talk like guys talk, like our own version of The View. You know what I mean? Broads have to inject their way into everything we do. The Super Bowl. You know, I don't want Bruno Mars there. I don't. Why? Because I want to wow up. It's my time to be a guy. I got 50 grand on the Broncos. Guess what? If it looks like I'm going to lose 50 grand at halftime, I'm not enjoying Bruno Mars. And anyone who looks like they're enjoying Bruno Mars is in danger of me hitting them. Madonna, I'm going to inject gay into the fucking Super Bowl. Because that's what we're looking for. I don't get the fuck away from me, Madonna. I don't want to see you at the Super Bowl in your fucking outfit, singing like a virgin for the 50,000th time. I don't inject gay. Gay's fine, whatever. I don't want a broad there. I don't. Why do women like to make fun of guys like we're dolts? The great Nick DiPaolo has a joke about how men always look stupid in commercials. It's true. He talks about the joke is a commercial for a computer so easy even Dad could use it. You mean the guy who bought the computer? And it's true in every commercial. The guy looks like a dolt. The woman is the smartest fucking person on the planet.
Oh, Dad.
Right, exactly. The fucking two ass dick kids. Oh, Dad, you're in a house with heat. Because of Dad. Because of the idiot. You two little gutter snipes. Little shithead kids. Yeah. But that's it. The dad's always there, and there's a political correct hierarchy for being smart in TV commercials. I'll give you what it is. Okay, a white man is always the dumbest person in a commercial. If there's a commercial with a bunch of different ethnicities or genders in it, the white man will always be the dummy. He's always the dum-dum. Okay. Then we go to the black man is always the dum-dum. If it's not as dumb as the white guy, if it's a black guy and a white guy, the black guy's always the black guy's a genius. The white guy's the dummy. Case in point, like Geico has a commercial right now for insurance, and a black guy and a white guy get into a fender bender. The black guy was smart enough to get Geico. And a sensible, light-skinned, is he black, is he white, multinational person shows up who works for Geico. And he's in shape, he's got his shirt tucked in with a clipboard. And he's your representative. And him and the dark-skinned black guy are having a nice conversation because they're the smart people. The white guy has his shirt untucked, and he's got the shitty. He was dumb and got the wrong insurance company, and he's the moron. And the black guy and the guy who you don't know what he is are laughing at the white guy. Black guy's very efficient. And this idiot, Dennis Haysbert, is this moron didn't get Allstate. Look at this white moron. Yeah, because that's usually the case. All right, so okay, there you go. What trumps a black man? A black woman. A black woman can do no wrong in a television commercial. A black woman in a television commercial is always Einstein. Okay? So the next person is a white woman. A white woman. Now, what's more politically correct? Is it gender or race? This is an interesting question. In a TV commercial, who is smarter all the time, a white woman or a black man? Well, guess what? You know what always trumps it? This is interesting. Men are always dumber in a commercial. So a black woman is smarter. No, a white woman is smarter than a black man. Okay? So if these three people are in a commercial, white man, black man, white woman, the white guy is always unbelievably retarded. He's doing the wrong thing. He's the dummy. If they're all at a diner, he's the one who goes, "Oh, I don't have my wallet." He's curly. The black man is the second dumbest. They're two adult men having a conversation like, "Oh, I didn't bring the right computer, calculator or whatever the fuck the commercial's for." But guess who did? Guess who's unbelievably bright? The white waitress. She comes over goofing on them. Well, if you guys wore these sneakers, like me, you wouldn't be dumb. And then the guys don't have enough money for the check, and the white waitress says, "I'll pick this one up for you two idiots." Because that always happens. Okay. Now, here we go. Who's even smarter than the white woman in a TV commercial? You guessed it. The black woman. I don't even want to get into Hispanics. Because they... right now, with all the anti-Mexican Trump stuff, a Mexican woman in a commercial is the single most intelligent person who's ever lived. If there's now, because of all of Trump's bullshit and all the sympathy people want to have towards Mexicans, a Mexican guy, very smart, but a Mexican broad, holy shit. She's going to have an IQ north of 160 right now. But in just a regular commercial, the black woman, if she shows up in that same commercial I just talked about, if it's a white guy, black guy, white woman comes in and she seems smart. If they want to have a tag where someone comes in and is even smarter than the white woman, it's a black woman. Okay? So in the commercial awards, I am now going to announce for the 30th straight year the smartest character in a normal TV commercial in America, the black woman. If someone outsmarts all of them, it's a black woman. You can't be smarter than a black woman in a TV commercial, unless it's this day and age, and you're a Mexican woman. Okay. Okay. So here's the rundown. If Stephen Hawking is in a commercial, all right, and I don't. And then Barack Obama is in a commercial. Obama's smarter than Hawking. Then you have, say, Maya Angelou. She's smarter than Obama. No, Whoopi Goldberg we'll go with. Whoopi Goldberg's smarter than Obama, and she's smarter than, of course, Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking's a white man. No, he's handicapped. That's interesting. Who's a really smart white guy, like a genius, like a known for being a genius? But say Einstein's alive. All right, so we'll go with that. A dead white guy might be a trump card. Okay, so Einstein's in a commercial. Albert Einstein. He's a Jew. Wait a minute. Okay, Albert Einstein. He's always the dumbest because he's a white guy. Then Barack Obama. He's always smarter than Einstein. Whoopi Goldberg. Always smart. Whoopi Goldberg is always smarter in a commercial than Barack Obama and Albert Einstein. No, I'm sorry. I messed up. It's the white waitress. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let's go back. All right. Albert Einstein, always the dumbest. Barack Obama, smarter than Albert Einstein. Joy Behar is your waitress. Joy Behar, in a TV commercial, is smarter than Barack Obama and Albert Einstein. And the smartest person in that commercial is I'll give you okay, it's what's her face. I got the perfect one. It's who's the fuck, I have the perfect one. Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett. If Angela Bassett shows up, she's smarter than who's the white broad I talked about?
Joy Behar.
Okay, she's smarter than Joy Behar. Who's smarter than Barack Obama? But the dumbest of dummies in that commercial, the idiot who's wearing the wrong sneakers, got the wrong insurance company, can't work the computer, doesn't know anything about paying a check, doesn't know anything about modern laptops, always uses the wrong shampoo, gets the wrong pencil sharpener, buys at the wrong Costco, gets the wrong car, doesn't ask for the Carfax, gets the wrong shirt that gives you a rash, doesn't know how to take care of the kids because he gets the wrong product, gets the wrong air conditioner, has the wrong conditioner for your hair, gets the wrong toothpaste, the wrong toothbrush, the wrong detergent, buys the wrong food at the fucking store where his wife, Joy Behar, asked him to go. He gets the wrong Jiffy Lube oil. He puts the wrong windows in the house. He's a moron. He's a moron and needs to be corrected by every other person in the commercial. And that guy is Albert Einstein. The guy who came up with the theory of relativity. If you put him in a TV commercial, he's retarded. Because of politically correct assholes. I'm not saying that a black woman could not be smarter than Albert Einstein. What I'm saying is, it's a bit of a stretch. It could happen. Putting that in a commercial every single time seems a bit redundant.
Now, where would Sofia Vergara fall into your thing?
She's the smartest person in the world. A Hispanic woman, maybe pregnant, maybe battered, a victim of verbal abuse by an Hispanic man. We all know fly off the handle. Yep. Yeah, good point. Sofia Vergara would Albert Einstein would be like her bumbling assistant in a commercial. If you put them in commercial world, Albert Einstein's the guy who gets the wrong DVD player, that can't download Apple, doesn't know anything about a phone, a cell phone, gets the wrong eyeliner, picked up the wrong potatoes, shops at the wrong supermarket, got the wrong radials for the car, doesn't know anything about snowblowers. Got the wrong type of fluoride in the toothpaste. Got the wrong toothbrush because the toothbrush he got doesn't get down in the enamel. Bought the wrong floss. Doesn't go to the right baseball stadium. Doesn't know how to shop at Crate and Barrel. Fucks up when he tries to go on Overstock.com during the holidays. Gave the kids a rash because he bought the wrong soap. Is Albert Einstein in a TV commercial? So the point is, again, there's too many people on TV. I'll tell you. I'll give you the example. There's a lot of unfunny, untalented people trying to be funny on television right now, and there has to be, because there's too many options for television. There's too many channels. So in other words, like when baseball expands or football, say, baseball goes from 26 to 28 teams, which they did recently, I think. I don't know. How many teams are in fucking baseball now? 30, 32?
I don't even know.
Or football's got a lot, right?
Yeah.
It used to be like 28. They expand. When that happens, this is simple math, guys. Simple physics. There's more spots open in the major leagues. For each team, there's another 25 spots that pop open for Major League Baseball. Which means 25 guys who wouldn't have been good enough to be in the league the year before are now in the league. Which means a shittier pitcher is in the league. The league gets worse. That's what happens. Expansion makes the league worse. It's less exclusive of a club. That's what happened to television. Only times a billion. It's not the equivalent of 2 extra teams. It is a million. If you add YouTube, any dope with a fucking phone can be on YouTube. And this generation considers that TV. The kid who drove me to the movie today, Danny was in the car. We were thinking about maybe trying to do the podcast from there, but there was no time. I was being a dad. Said he does a lot of stuff on YouTube with his friends. I like the kid. He's a 23-year-old kid. He had a good idea to try to open a show business type movie studio. And, look, you got to start somewhere. And I had an idea, but he's saying about his friends shoot stuff and put it on YouTube. I mean, think about that. It's like a toy kids have. They could be on TV. They could shoot it, and they put it up on the fucking television. They run it through the fucking whatever they run it through, and you're on television. And they put it up to where everyone can see it. And I guess kids become famous from that. I don't know. They do. But besides network TV, think about the 70s. Think about how funny you had to be to get on television or The Tonight Show in the 70s and 80s. There were 3 networks, man, with only a certain amount of time slots. The funniest writers in the world were writing for TV, and usually the funniest people. Red Fox. There's nobody as funny as Red Fox on television right now. Esther, why'd you go in the kitchen and stick your face in some dough and make gorilla cookies? Is there anyone saying stuff that funny and that funny delivery? No. You had to be great. You had to be great. Now you don't. You don't have to be great. And
you don't even have to be good.
Right. You're watering down.
And if you're good looking, you can be horrible.
Well, Dan, stop your anger towards good-looking people. But that's the thing. There's a lot of competition with that, too. You throw yourself on the... Yeah, I mean, again, with sports, it's getting terrible with the... who's the smartest... Again, Tony Saragusa. just got fired from Fox Sports. Yeah, because he's not too entertaining on the sidelines. Because Tony Siragusa isn't the perfect person to analyze football games. You talk about a guy with the most street cred you could imagine. 12 or 13 years, whatever it is, 10 years at least in the league. All pro. But it was a major player. Could have been MVP in a Super Bowl on the defensive side when they won. Got a Super Bowl ring for the Ravens. Unbelievably entertaining, naturally funny guy. So great on the sidelines. He would do stuff that was actually funny in a football player kind of funny way. And then he'd give an analogy that was like nobody else because he played the game. But guess what? What was wrong with him? Let's go back to Artie's rule of commercials. What was wrong with Tony Siragusa? Why isn't Tony Siragusa as smart or as good on the sidelines? Why does he get fired? Pam Oliver doesn't. Why? What's Artie's rule? What's Pam Oliver? She's a black woman. What's Tony Siragusa? A white guy who was in a Super Bowl. Pam Oliver, hot as hell. Put on a couple the last few years. Hot as hell. And very bright, very articulate. And of course, what does articulate mean? It means a black person who speaks well. That's a nervous white guy saying the most subtly racist thing when a white guy in the booth talking about a black player goes, very articulate. They never say that for a white guy. Why? Because in their head it's a given. He's articulate. It's racism. And I love it. In an entertainment, I love racism. I'm entertained by it. I hate it. If there's one thing I am, it's anti-racism. Where's the applause, dude? I'll say it anyway. Let me say it again. If there's one thing I am, people, it's anti-racism. Thank you. Make that the promo. Yeah, Tony Siragusa, white guy who sacked somebody in a Super Bowl. So guess what? He's not qualified to be a fucking football analyst. Pam Oliver ever fucking break Rich Gannon's neck in a fucking AFC Championship game? In the words of Jake LaMotta, as Robert De Niro as Jake LaMotta, I'm disgusted with the two of you. So you flip the channels in this overly saturated, TV world, and you see a lot of mediocrity. There's people passing themselves off as funny that are not funny, that are not good actors, that have nothing to say that's even remotely interesting. These pundits who talk in favor of different candidates on CNN and Fox and MSN, wherever they get them, they have to interview them to fill time. I don't know. Some of them are almost retarded. I don't know where they get them. Well, we're going to have primary for Mr. Ted Cruz, and I bet Ted Cruz going to come out on top. Well, he's not a liar. Trump's a liar. He's not a liar. Why do you say that? He lied. Well, sure he lied, but he's not a liar. Then how do you explain him getting caught in a lie? Well, listen. Everybody gets caught in a lie, but he's not a liar. But, you'd think that the network shows would still get the creme de la creme. They do not.
Oh, no.
Many times, it's the direct opposite. And I'm going to give a case in point right now. I'm going to be brutally honest about a television program. That I just, again, I work at the Comedy Cellar, and I'm not putting myself in this group, but some of the funniest people on the planet are stand-up comics who work at the Comedy Cellar. Many are my friends. And, look, we have a lot of other issues that might mean we can't be on TV. But from pure funny, you wonder why this person isn't on, based on the people you see, how come this person isn't on every night? You just see certain people and you go, oh my God, how is this person on television? There's a show called The James Corden Show, right? It's called Late Night with James Corden. What's it called? Late Show with James Corden. He's on after Stephen Colbert,
Right.
Who's lighting the world on fire. again, Stephen Colbert is finding out in a very the hard way that that arrogant, aloof prick that he plays. Joe, Mr. and Mrs. Joe America, hardworking people don't want to be talked down to. And he does this after he flies out doing high kickstands like a cheerleader. Very effeminate. What are you dummying up on the air for, Mr. Big Shot?
What are you talking about?
All you do is bash him off the air.
I can't stand
You're hanging
this
me out to
show.
dry.
I'm not.
You can't stand the show. Calm down. We might get him as a guest.
I don't think so.
No, I'm saying whatever. He's a very talented guy, but that's not. They're finding out that's not a mainstream thing. Maybe. I don't know. What do I know? Got fired from DirecTV after 3 years for Rich Eisen's show. No, but James Corden follows him on CBS. He's a guy who got the late, after who the fuck, Greg Ferguson. He took over for Greg Ferguson. First of all, we give it to an English guy. And again, is it wrong to say it's CBS America? America? An English guy replaces a Scottish guy. And remember Norm Macdonald on Twitter, people goofed on him because he was lobbying to get that job. Do you know how much funnier Norm Macdonald is than James Corden? I can't even, like, if there was some sort of like machine you could run something through and the results would come out, that everybody would use as the standard, like a lie detector. This is me, Tori. I'll tell you what, this James Corden guy, my machine says he's not funny. He's not a funny guy. He seems a little fruity, too. I'm getting the result here. Wait a minute. I just gave the test, the funny test. And say he's not funny. And he has had sex with a colored guy. Norm Macdonald is funnier. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even worth a discussion. Go to the Comedy Cellar on a Tuesday night at 1 a.m. Throw a rock. You'll hit a guy funnier than James Corden. Might not even be a comedian. Could be a bartender. I just have to say this. He seems like a nice guy, He claims to have a wife. I mean, she can't be hard to spot. I'm sure it's a woman with a very frustrated look on her face. I don't, and people they overhype the show, and you just want to strangle somebody. The first 3 weeks it was on the air, I guess all the power of CBS helped them book guests. They bragged on these shows. They talk about late night laughs on CNN. They're all bragging about, "Boy, this guy's really funny. He's gone viral. 5 straight nights he's gone viral with a video on YouTube. He went viral singing an Adele song on video." And like, really? Okay, what did he do? It must be innovative. You know why he went viral singing an Adele song on YouTube? Because he sang an Adele song with Adele. If Adele came in here, you don't think in 4 seconds I could think of 5 videos that would go viral? If Adele agreed to do whatever the fuck I wanted, come in here and you do whatever idea Artie has, you do it. You don't think I'd go viral? And then you cut to him, it's just him doing leg kicks with Adele. And it's clear that he loves it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's also... look, I don't know. I don't know. He seems insanely gay. I mean, I just can't... I mean... very effeminate. There's a shot, I tweeted it out, of him and... he got Elton John. That went viral, too. Elton John, the singer song. He's singing Tiny Dancer with Elton John in a car. I think it's a ripoff of the Seinfeld thing, Comedians with Coffee. It's comedians singing in cars. Like he did the homosexual version of the Seinfeld show. So he's driving in a car, like in the back of a green screen, with Elton John, coincidentally his hero. I think they're singing Tiny Dancer, Philadelphia Freedom. I don't know. And there's a still photograph that was, all over the internet, or they used it as a promo. They didn't even see what was funny about this. It's him right next to Elton John, their mouths completely open in an oval. Like saying, like, oh, me clout. Their mouths are wide open next to each other with, gay sparkles in their eyes. You know how Liberace's eyes looked when he said, let's go over to this candelabra. You know the gay sparkles Michael Douglas has in the movie when Matt Damon is ramming him in his asshole?
Oh, God.
That movie, that movie was so well done. Matt Damon and Michael Douglas captured those characters so well, I can't look at Michael Douglas anymore. I can't watch Wall Street. Because I know Michael Douglas is going to go on. And the son that, while he's shooting Wall Street, that he has at home in Malibu, he's ignoring 4-year-old little Cameron eventually will deal meth and go to jail because Mike didn't seem like the best dad. He'll show his wrinkly ass and Basic Instinct, get a pricey divorce, go to sex fucking rehab. And then eventually get cancer from eating out Catherine Zeta-Jones's pussy. That's what he said. He got cancer from eating out Catherine. Yeah, I think on Letterman. Yeah, Dave, I'm going to get cancer. Apparently cunnilingus. Yeah. That's how a fucking good-looking movie star gets cancer. Eating out of Ted's pussy. You know the chick from Entrapment? Yeah, eating her cunt. That's how I got cancer. Cut the Sean Connery immediately going to the doctor. What did the Douglas say?
Ving Rhames is in that movie too.
What did Douglas say? Catherine Zeta-Jones's pussy is cancer. What a Christmas. I knew I shouldn't have smacked her. I gotta call Dr. Feinberg. I gotta get right in there. From what I hear about Catherine Zeta-Jones, a lot of guys went to the doctor that day.
Oh.
I might be friends with one of them.
Wow.
I might be friends with one of them. Yeah, so, they're right next to each other with their mouths wide open, and I couldn't resist, and I almost, if David Geffen ever saw this tweet, I'd be kicked out of show business. But I had, their mouths were wide open next to each other, and I tweeted out 2-cock garage. And look, not amazingly funny, but I mean, the guys I work construction with really found that funny. The guy is so unfunny. He had on the chick, the Mindy Project chick, who NBC is trying to tell us has been famous. The NBC has been telling us she's famous for 10 years now. It ain't working. She's one of those chicks they're dying to make famous. Why, guys? Why? Brown chick. In many ways, a brown chick smarter than the black chick. She's had a show, the Mindy Project, on for, I don't know, it's been on 14 seasons. She's not catching on. So she's the first guest. The next guest is that English chef, Graham
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, Norton Ramsay, what the fuck?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, yeah. I knew Dan would know. And he's on. And Mindy, the political correctness, this is why James Corden goes, first of all, I love your show because you do such brave things. Tell us what you're focusing on. Well, I'm a single mother who's dating, and not a lot of shows are doing single mother. You're right. You're so right. Can we just applaud? That is unbelievable. You're a single mom who's dating, Mindy. Did we cover that? Didn't Bonnie Franklin do that on One Day at a Time in 1976? She was a single mom dating. Okay, covered. Bye. It's 2016. We're applauding her for having the guts to show a single mom date on TV. What the fuck are you talking about? What kind of bullshit are you ramming down our throat? I mean, listen. James Corden, if he really is gay, has a right. He has to come out because little boys are learning that that's what a man is like. That's not what a man is like. A man is like Sean Connery.
That should be in the men's class at 6th grade. That's right. Sean Connery, Barbara Walters clip.
Absolutely. That's what a man's like. Sean Connery. A man doesn't get excited because the Mindy Project shows a single woman dating. You know what a man does? He goes, okay, could you get out of the way? I can't see the band. You really? You're tackling that? You're tackling that single woman? I'm scratching my nuts. That's what I want to fucking do. I want to go to a Trump rally.
But I want you to go on that show.
What show?
On the Corden show. Just so that when he leans forward and gets so close to you, you punch him in the face, because I know it's going to happen.
You should go on the Bob Levy show with that show. No, I don't want to punch him in the face. I don't. I'm not a Nazi. I don't want you to help with the bits. I take that back.
He gets uncomfortably close to the guests.
Yeah, I know. Okay, fine. Stop yelling at me. So I'm not going to punch him in the face. That's not the point. He has a right to, he has a fucking obligation to little boys to say, no, this is a homosexual man. And if he really is straight, he has to get off television. I don't mind gay guys on TV. I don't mind straight guys on TV. An effeminate guy who's straight, I want off television. He's giving off the wrong vibe. That's called a joke, people, on Twitter. But I don't know. It's disconcerting. I feel he's living a lie, and I feel bad for him. He gets excited about shit that's just not goddamn funny. And again, Johnny Carson, David Letterman, did they get excited because Mindy was dating? No, they sit there like dudes. Stephen Colbert runs out and does Dallas Cowboy cheerleader kicks before his fucking monologue. Johnny Carson used to walk out like the outlaw Josie Wales. Do about 10 jokes about Tommy Newsom's tie. Do a bit with a drunken Ed McMahon. That was always hilarious for some reason. Bring on Angie Dickinson, interview her, and then fuck her in his Corvette after the show. He didn't get in the fucking car with his hero, Elton John, and sing Tiny Dancer like a fucking brownie selling cookies. Unbelievable. So Graham Norton and Mindy from the Mindy Project in her 48th season, and James Corden are talking about that, and then Graham Norton.
Gordon Ramsay.
What's his name?
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay says, I'm having another. He says, Gordon goes, how's your life going? To Gordon Ramsay. And Gordon Ramsay goes, well, I have a kid. Like, yeah, how's the kid doing? James, how's the kid doing? Like anybody gives a shit. And he goes, well, actually, we're expecting another one. Okay. Gordon Ramsay says him and his wife are expecting a second child. Okay, the kind of news. If my sister told me it, I go, oh, it's sweet, Stacey. Congratulations. Give me a hug. That's great. I'll buy you a cheeseburger, baby. James Corden got up as if someone just announced they had a cure for the HIV. He got up and yelled like it was fucking 1999. screamed like it was New Year's. Ah, the ball, you're having a kid, get out of here. He got up like a housewife. Like, it's unreal how excited he got. Like, confetti came down. Get out of here, oh my God. Oh my God. Ran out, starts high-fiving the women. Because this asswife's having a kid? Because he came in his wife's cunt again? What the fuck? I mean, who can't do... What the fuck? That's on television. People, late night comedy shows, people used to labor over making a bit funny and what are we going to talk about? Making an interview interesting. He's jumping up and down. Like John Leguizamo on fucking pharmaceutical grade coke, doing his one-man show, The Pest. Talking about the barrio. Coming up on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by House of Buggin', starring comedian John Leguizamo. Unbelievable. The boring conversation on national television, how boring the fucking conversation was. If Graham Norton, if Gordon Ramsay, the Mindy from the Mindy Project, the Mindenberg, as I call her. That's what heterosexual men do. They say unbelievably offensive stuff like that. The Mindenberg. Are you fat shaming? Maybe. People fat shame me. They body judge me too. Okay. Gordon Ramsay, Mindy from the Mindy Project, and Gordon. We're having a conversation on national television. If they were having that same conversation at an Applebee's, there would be at least 10 other tables with a more interesting conversation. At least 10 other people with mid-level insurance company jobs, or plumbers, or house painters, or out-of-work addicts at Applebee's with their family would be having a more interesting conversation than those three were having on national television. How the fuck does that happen? I don't know. I just don't know. But here we are. We're still here. Me and Dan. We've been kicked off of several different networks. And that's my point. That's my point for tonight. That's my soliloquy. All right. We only did two, and we wanted to throw you a third podcast here. And I woke Danny up late. I said we owe it to the people. We owe it to Monica and Torelli. We owe Gunner, Torelli, and Monica and Mixaplex, Stern Foundation, and his alter ego Jay Lennon, who I had to block because he was crazy. Stern Mixaplex. Stern Mixaplex. Hey, this is Stern Foundation. This is Stern Foundation. Listen, I was John Lennon. I was Jay Lennon. The green egg. You know, my symbol was the green egg. My symbol was the green egg. This is Foundation. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I got the aneurysm in my head, and sometimes I start repeating myself, and my wife hits me in the back of the head. It's the only thing that gets me out of my rhetoric. I repeat stuff. Oh, thank honey. That's the little missus getting me at some mixaplex. So I heard I doing a bit about the people listening, fans, and that's I always like when he gets me on mention. I like mentions. But I just want to say I like mentions. Because if you have mentions, more people know who you are on Twitter. Twitter has mentions. And you get on TV, you like mentions too. You get mentioned. Here's what a mention is. You get mentioned. People mention you. They take your friend Nathan as their friend. It's a mixaplex. And a mention makes you more famous. And if you can imagine someone being more famous than I am now, that's what would happen. So I'm in a feud with Sir Mixaplex. I tried to make up for him, but he doesn't care. He says, "Fuck you, Sir Nathan." And I said, "Sir Mixaplex, let's get along. I'm reaching out to Sir Mixaplex, like Trump is reaching out to what's his face, Rance Priebus. Rance Priebus. He's reaching out to Paul Ryan, to John Ryan, to Ryan Gosling. But no go. So Artie was mentioning all the names of the people to the Dasher and Dancer, Prancer and Vixen, and Sir Mixon, and Sir Mixaplex, and Sir Vixaplex. And I was going to help him out in the song. And I was saying, is he going to mention me in the song? And of course, I'm always mentioned. And he mentioned me in the song. So I was going to something like this, Artie. You know, Monica and Gunnar, Mr. Morris and Steve Torelli, Sir Mixaplex, and Gaffa, and Artie Fan Clip So Smelly. You know Corey Gatnian. That's the new guy, Corey Gatnian. You know Corey Gatnian and Rick in L.A. With little Artie namesake, Sir Mixaplex. I could say Sir Mixaplex as Stern Fan Nation. Probably you'd have to actually get a doctor. Dan, you'd have to hire like a doctor. This happens to me. Sometimes I can't stop saying things. The Mets had an old announcer, Bob Murphy, and he talked like this. He goes, "What a day for a ball game here at Shea." Ron Darling goes back well, doesn't he though? On a fly ball. And the Mets had a Cuban, I think, shortstop named Alex Ochoa. And Alex Ochoa, I couldn't stop saying, as Bob Murphy, Alex Ochoa, when I was about 22 years old. My friends actually thought I was going to go to the emergency room. Why is Artie in the hospital? He can't stop saying Alex Ochoa. Then I went through it with a football player named Tucker Fredrickson. I kept saying Tucker Fredrickson. Then I kept saying for a little while when we started the Nick and Artie show, teleconferencing centers. I heard it in a commercial and it just flows off my tongue. Teleconferencing centers. Artie's in the emergency room. He can't stop saying teleconferencing centers. Sir Mixaplex. Anyway, I have fun doing that.
What did the roof sealant guy say? What was his line?
That, yeah. This sealant will cost you thousands in repairs. Well, why did you talk over me? No, this leak will cost you thousands in repairs. And I'm telling you, I bet that bit, of course, I think went viral. Now, if you notice, that same guy does the commercial, and he doesn't say it weird anymore. Yeah. I bet he heard me.
Well, we got him on the DirecTV show.
We did?
And he can't. No, we did. That morning, he canceled.
He did?
Yeah, because he wanted you to sign something that you would not make fun of him or the commercial.
Sign something?
Yeah. That is absolutely true.
Apparently comedians are doing that a lot. You're kidding me. So I couldn't have said... what he doesn't get was I admired it.
That's what I told him.
Also, talk about, well, you don't want publicity like that? It's free publicity.
I know.
I would have said the name of his product and the slogan 1 billion times. That cost you thousands in sales. You know, I did go on the Artie Lang show. It cost me thousands in sales. Sure makes a place. All right, we did 3 shows, and I want to do 3 shows. That's why we're here at 4 in the morning, because we love you.
So we're going to turn off the microphones and put on our persona.
That's right.
That was my favorite thing from the night.
My persona. Right now I'm wearing my persona. And the thing is, my persona smells like provolone. But I take off my persona. I got to wash my persona. Like, you know how you have a winter jacket that you have to wash the winter out of? Yeah. I have to wash out my persona. My persona is my winter jacket. You know the guy, the dirty guy on Charlie Brown, who walks around with the dirt around him? Yeah. Is that Franklin? No, Franklin's the colored kid. The other kid. You think Franklin fucked Lucy in the first interracial cartoon? Yeah, the pig pen. Yeah, pig pen on Charlie Brown. I'm like that. My persona has dirt coming out of it. And flies. My persona has flies, my persona. I got to get my persona dry cleaned. Hey, dry cleaner, do you do personas? Do you have anybody else's persona in there? Because I want to get my persona dry cleaned. Can I get my persona dry cleaned? 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 Honey, can I get my persona... Sorry. Yeah, honey, good news, he's going to wash my persona. Next winter, I promise I'll do it every 2 weeks. My persona stinks like provolone. My persona stinks like provolone. Yeah. God, I can't wait for the sweet release of death. We may do a bonus over the weekend. Keep your eyes and ears out. And,